Welcome to the Rise into Purpose Summit. You all are in the right place. Wow, I was just reviewing the people whose voices and fulfilling lives we're going to have in front of us for the next 3 days. And it starts today. I'm going to start by giving some perspective about why we even have a Rise into Purpose Summit where we talk about what does it look like to live a truly fulfilling life. What you're about to see is 25 deeply experienced individuals who are living fulfilling lives and helping others step into their most fulfilling life. So why would we even do that? We do it because there are millions of us, and we are of all different ages, of all different professions, all different backgrounds, all different cultures. But the common denominator is we know there's more that we want to do. We know we're not done. We know we can step up to a higher level or expand what we're doing or just step into more of our power. And often the question is, how do I do that? Every day I speak to people who have decades of experience, and many of them use the same word. It's clarity. And yes, I am the host of the Clarity Summit. That is a different event. This is the Rise into Purpose Summit, but here's the clarity. And then I literally will play a 1-minute video and speak to you from my heart, okay? They say, if I could just get more clarity about where this goes from here, I just need some clarity about how to handle the way I'm coming across. I need better ways to say what we do. We're not getting credit for what makes us outstanding. I know that we can make much better business results. Our business isn't growing fast. We don't get the right people coming to our website. You know, we have such a phenomenal gift of what we do, but other people get credit for doing it, and we're way better than they are. These are very common, and they cross all industries. And for the last 10 years, I've been working only with individuals, but for 20 years, I work with companies, and it's the same language. So if you, I'm going to share my screen for a moment, and I'm going to start with a video that calls it exactly what it is. And it's clarity. Clarity is powerful. Clarity is the missing piece that prevents a brand from being really well understood, that prevents an individual entrepreneur from literally getting credit for what makes them outstanding, for touching another individual's heart that they really want to impact, but there's no connection.
For decades, Rich Kozak mined clarity, aligning everything brands say and do.
He is the rocket fuel for people who want their brand to impact others' lives or the world.
He's a sage voice for impact-driven branding, a passionate, heart-acting coach, strategist, best-selling author.
Today is the day to define the brand you will become.
Rich, you have been so amazing. Thank you for your pure intention to be sure to deliver us on your promise.
This has been amazing. Man, you just over-delivered.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Rich Kozak!
That's the word. It's clarity. And it's often missing. I don't want to start this on a negative. I want to start this on a positive. We are all born with unlimited power. We're all born with gifts. We're all created by the same creator. And what is a branding guy doing talking like this? Okay, I'm sorry. I asked the question. That might be the elephant in the room. But we all get the same opportunity to make the highest level, the most significant impacts on those whose lives we touch in the time we're given with the gifts that we're given. So with that common denominator that connects all of us, when we realize how broad the connection is, and we are really clear, or we get to that moment in our lives, and I think that's why many of the people that I work with have decades of experience, but not all of them do. Some of them just have early perspective. But you get to that point where you know you want to step into a higher level of purpose, of impact, of why you do what you do, and the results that you make, the number of people you touch, the connectedness to spirit, whatever it is for you that is your highest level impacts, you just have the feeling you know there's more and you're not done. What do? Sometimes that feels like a locked gate to the next level of your impact, to the next level of the results that your business or your consultancy or your speaking or your expertise or you as a leader of a company can make. But sometimes it just feels like a miry bog, and we get to pull ourselves out of the miry bog and stand on a rock. And that's what this is about. It's about connecting. It's about connecting all of you with the individuals who are speaking, not just from their hearts, but from their deep experience, transforming their own lives and the lives of those they touch. As coaches, as experts, as counselors, as wow, we have such a broad range of, as industry leaders, we have people speaking to you at this summit. And look, this sounds like a commercial, and maybe it is. You are doing yourself an injustice if you don't upgrade to VIP and make sure you have all the recordings of all the presenters, because you can listen to them again. You don't have to sit and take copious notes. I would love you to be here all 3 days, but doing that enables you to revisit and re-listen, or listen in a time you couldn't stay and hear them, and share that. Share that with your team. Share those powerful comments with your children, with yourself. This is for you. This is about this event, the Rise into Purpose Summit, is about connecting you to the voices and experience and perspective of all of these fulfilling life people living a fulfilling life and helping others to step into their most fulfilling life, a truly fulfilling life. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I will tell you, one of the most up-leveling feelings that I get regularly is that this community that RichBrands has developed over the last 10 years, and that sounds a little conceited, and I don't mean that. What I mean is people who have been through the work and stepped into their highest level, named it, created unique language that transfers energy, made sure their brand comes alive, that they are creating a consistent perception in the minds of those whose lives they most want to impact, because that's what a brand is. It's a perception in other people's minds. It's not what you think. And they've done it, and they come back and tell others how it feels, the clarity they found, the consistency they baked into the way they say what they do, the way that they no longer create confusion, but instead everything they say and do is aligned with the impacts they clearly see making as their brand is thriving. That's pretty powerful, and that's the reason that this brand expert, many of you don't know me. You've been invited by those who do know me. I have been defining and languaging brands for 49 years, and I'm not done. Okay. Like, I'm in my own target audience. I'm not done. I have much higher level impacts to make. One of the reasons that I and the team, and I thank the Ericksons, they're here, Steve Erickson and the founder of Event Raptor, their team is producing this summit. Why we put this together is to deliver a tremendous amount of value, like residual value. So make sure you have all the recordings. The residual value of these voices that will touch your life and allow you to touch others' lives in more powerful ways. So let's see here. I'm going to, when I rebooted the computer, I make sure, let's see. Yeah, here we go. So let me slide this over here. I just want to, I just want to officialize this, that my intention and hope and my prayer for each of you is that not only you learn more through what I say today and on Friday about the brand you will become, the brand you must become, the perception you get to create that leads you to come alive and attract in ways you have never done before, that makes clarity into the work you do and the way it comes across, that so that everything aligns, that you learn more about that it exists, that it's just a process, that it's just steps, and that many people will stand up and say, look, pay attention, this is the real deal. This is not branding, hooey, hype, funny stuff, funny talk, funny language. This is clarity. This is deep experience you can trust and straight talk. So, but that it yields you better results in the work you do, that it sharpens and improves your business, your expertise, your consultancy, your work as a corporate executive, and that it enables you and opens the door for you to make your most significant impacts on those whose lives you touch. Now, that sounds touchy-feely, like maybe we're talking about life coaches, but look, I have clients who run factories and they have products that change the nature of safety worldwide. I have clients who are heads of diversity, equity, and inclusion at law firms, and they literally touch people's lives across countries with the language and process of the next level. Diversity through God's eyes, not what we've been used to hearing. Financial advisors that help people step into higher levels of living and giving. It's so broad. It doesn't matter what your work, what your calling is. What matters is that you know that there is and I'll be specific from my view, there's a 7-step process. And here we call it impact-driven branding. When you clearly see the impacts you can make when you're thriving and you really want to make them, it's just following the steps. It is not tricky, hooey, creative, hoo-ha that you maybe it works and maybe it doesn't. It's not slapping something on you on the outside of you that somebody thinks is a good brand. It comes from inside of you. And I want you to feel that and know it. And as you listen to these speakers over the next 3 days, or when you re-listen on the tape, on the recordings that you get, if you upgrade to VIP, and please do, it is truly the best thing you can do for yourself concerning this event, then that clarity starts to sink into you, and it affects everything you do. And I want that for you. What I see for you is that you step in to your highest level, not just what you're known for, but your umbrella brand, that highest level impact that you've been made to make. And you might not be even thinking about that, but we think about it every day here. What's the umbrella? Not just what's your business and how do we say it and how do we make sure that the language is clear, but what's the umbrella? That's what I see for you, and I want it for you. When we all have that, the world we create is a way more positive place. Your results are in a different league. And that's what I see for you. And that's what I want for you. So I want to make sure that that's clear. And I'll put this on the screen just so you've seen it. 7 steps to ensure your brand impacts people's lives and the world. That is the subtitle of my book, Impact Driven Branding. Branding is just steps. So we all have transformations in our lives, and sometimes it's at the hands of a coach or a parent, maybe a sports coach, or maybe even a good friend or someone. I mean, I've had aha moments on airplanes with strangers. So the people we meet for a moment, for a season, or for a lifetime, and they come into our lives for a reason. It's a blessing. So I experienced a transformation, and I want to take you there. I want you to understand why I'm doing this and what is behind it. So I'll make this quick. I want you to picture 3:16 in the morning on the 9th floor of this marvelous business building on the Malibu coast, looking right up that curved coast of palm trees. But it's 3:16 a.m. I'm the only one at the high-tech ad agency, and I know I've got to leave. I've got to get down to my car because I've got to drive home, take a shower, shave, put on a new suit, good tie, and get out into my car again and drive and be in that boardroom by 9 o'clock, and it's an hour and a half away, and say, gentlemen, that was gentlemen at the time, but today it would be ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rich Kozak. I am from Young Company, and I'm here to paint a picture for you of what we see, the way your future best fit clients, best fit companies that do business with you perceive you in the future, and why it affects the way your strategic success will map out. I'm shaving. I'm looking in the mirror, and I get this thought, I'm killing myself. I'm doing all-nighters at 50 years old because I'm addicted to my job. Hey, let's not kid around. I'm loving it. I'm having fun. I'm really good at it. I get to share the vision of what I see for companies, for individuals, for careers, for the future. Strategically learn the language of 100 different industries. For a person with adult ADHD, I'd say that's a really good job. Every phone call, every 15 minutes is a different language. It's an absolute hoot. But I'm looking in the mirror, and I made a decision. I changed my prayer to, Lord, I'm resigning this addictive career to reshape my life. Show me what you want me to do. I'm ready. That was my prayer. For 6 months, as I drove into work, I shared with the person who owned the agency, a dear friend, that it was time for me to move on. And within 6 months, the day we had set came, and I was no longer the executive vice president of an agency with partners in 21 countries. I still was a global branding consultant, but the words started coming out of my mouth, I don't do branding anymore. Well, it didn't take long for people in my network to reach out to me and say, hey, I have this business. I'm a mobile massage therapist, but I have this vision of a multimodal facility, a medical facility, alternative medical facility in my town up on a hill owned by a lot of people that are friends of mine. Can you help me build a brand? Well, I don't do that anymore, was my response. And what I heard was, that's not true. You never stopped. You just don't charge for it. But everybody uses your language. You're brilliant, and I want your help, and I want to pay you out of kindness for that person because I cared for her. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. I will create a process based on what we've used with these large companies, and the largest client I had was a $14 billion public company. Many of our clients were hundreds of millions. They were software companies, all kinds of different industries. But I said, I will create this process the same way that we dealt with steps, and we'll go through the steps and we'll define in language the brand you will become. How's that? Okay. And 1 month later, someone in a different network asked me, hey, I've worked as a HR person under somebody else's wing for years, and I'm ready, after 14 years, I'm ready to go out on my own, but I don't have a brand. Will you help me develop a brand? I said, well, I just created this, so I have this process, and okay. So, and then a coach who had a book with Les Brown, wrote the forward to her book on networking, and she said, I'm bringing you a client. I think you're the best branding person for her. And I said, I don't do branding anymore. And she goes, okay. So 3 in a row, month 1, month 2, month 3. Within the 5th month, I'm sitting in the choir loft in my church, listening to a sermon, and it comes to me, wow, oh my gosh, what I'm doing, reaching into people's hearts with them, painting the picture they see of the impacts they want to make, and they clearly see making on those whose lives they touch when they thrive. Who put those impacts in their hearts? I didn't. And the aha moment was, this is not my work. This is God's work. Now, have you ever heard a global branding consultant say to you that branding is God's work? I doubt it, but it is. This kind of branding, when individuals know they're not done and they've lived whatever they've lived and they're ready to take it to another level, and it's not about them. It's about the impacts they clearly know they can have, and they see it. It's about them. It's about the impacts they can make. It's about them stepping into a higher level of effectiveness and success in what they do using branding. It's always been used that sharpen your business, make your business more effective. But doing this creates a platform from which it's much easier to step into why you are really here. Now we're back to the umbrella brand, aren't we? This is a very healthy place. It's a very uplifting place, this RichBrands community. And many of the people that you'll hear speak have been touched by or have touched the RichBrands community, or they are contacts of mine. One of the things that has been clear my entire career is that I connect with people and I connect people. And so it's a natural thing for me to offer to host this event, the Rise into Purpose Summit, where you get to connect with these people whom I've connected with. They have powerful lives, powerful voices, kind hearts, and they are impact driven. Likes attract like, and I want you to know that you are in the perfect place to prepare you for the answer to the question of where does this go from here? All right. Sometimes I make an assumption and I'm going to put that assumption aside. When I use the word brand, I know exactly what it means. Many people who do are selling marketing and they don't know exactly what it means. So I am going to define the word so that you have that perspective. And those of you who have heard me speak before probably have heard this, but it'll be very quick. Your brand is a perception. A perception. It's not what you say it is. It's not what you think it is. It's what those whom you most want to impact, and you clearly see those impacts, it's what they perceive it is. Your brand is a perception in the minds of your most important target audiences, individuals, those types of people that you know you can impact and you really want to, their perception. An industry that you know you can shift, their perception. A country that you know you can help build a stronger foundation for, it's their perception. Your brand is a perception, but it's not your perception. It's not what you think or say. So your job to come alive, for your brand to literally do its work. And I'm not, it could be maybe you are the brand, you're a solopreneur, or maybe you've created an entity and you think it's the brand. It doesn't matter, it can be both. Your job is to shape a consistent perception in the minds of those people, those types of people or businesses or industry that you most want to impact and you clearly see the impact. Their perception. Not people hundreds of miles, thousands of miles away who love to pet giraffes, unless that's your business, and I don't mean to, rag on giraffes, but it's the minds of the people you most want to impact. Their perception is your brand. There is where it counts. If you've defined your umbrella brand, the nature of the people whose lives you will touch has shifted, has changed. It's still the same. It's their perception. So branding is all those things we get to do, and none of us have the money and time to do them all, that shape a consistent perception that move people forward, consistent perception that attract them to you, a consistent perception that is aligned with your impacts you clearly see making, so that when you look in their eye and say, hey, I understand your situation. We understand what you're going through. Here's what I see for you. Here's what we see for you. And the words after that are now crafted. They're consistent, and they paint a picture of what you see for them, so they know you are the one. They know your brand is the one. They know to let you in. When it's not clear, when clarity is missing, got to go back to that. With the clarity isn't baked in, if they can't feel it because everything you say and do is aligned, if they can't feel that clarity, your brand, you bounce off. They bounce off. They come to your website, they don't stay. They read your business card, instead they hear your pitch, they say, oh, that's nice. I don't want that for you. It doesn't have to be that way. It can be tremendously, consistently magnetic and powerful when your language is unique and transfers energy, and when you have baked positive ongoing recognizability into your brand, and when everything you say and do is congruent with your heart and the impacts you clearly see making, your brand comes alive. The problem in our business world and our mundane is that most brands fall flat. They don't attract. They don't resonate. They don't transfer energy. So why does a woman who runs a bookkeeping agency say that her number one category of expertise is simplifying the tech and accounting decisions for your business to reach millions? Wait a minute, what? What? Simplifying the tech and accounting decisions for your business to reach millions? She's a bookkeeper? It's because she's on the front edge of technology and she knows you're going to grow fast, things are going to slow you down, and you're making mistakes if you don't make sure you have the right tech stack. A bookkeeper? Okay, you've got to get credit for what makes you outstanding. Why does a man who has a number of different credentials in alternative health, mushrooms that heal cancer, stem cells, increasing the number of stem cells in your body so that your body manages aging way better, learning to have a stronger and more active and a sharper experiencing, a younger brain as you age. If I started talking about all of those things he's involved in and his history and stuff, you'd be confused and you'd stop paying attention. But when he stands up and says, I'm the founder of the legacy brand, Mindful Longevity, renew, rejuvenate, revitalize, holistic health mentoring that empowers lives, if that resonates with you, and it does with most people who are aging, which is all of us, okay, you go, wow, holistic health mentoring. I think I'd like to know about that. When we have found the steps, and it's just steps, to speak at the highest level of our impacts, to speak from our umbrella brand and not just from our business brand or our consulting brand or our speaker brand or our expert brand or our author brand. And we have them all here. All these speakers, most of these speakers are authors and experts and deeply experienced in their areas of expertise. When you speak from that level, things are different. And one of the reasons that I ask all of these people to speak to you is so that it opens the doors of awareness for you, that if this resonates with you, that there's more, you want to make sure you make higher level impacts. You don't want to do this twice. You don't want to waste money and have nothing happen. You don't want to you want to get the branding right, and you didn't even know what that meant, but now you do. You've got to shape that consistent perception, and you got to transfer energy in ways that attract, not fall flat. That you know that there are steps to get there. One of the reasons for this summit is for me to tell you, here's a whole package of things that you can do, and you have a very, very special offer, and I'll speak Friday about it, but I want you to know that you don't want to miss that. You want to be here for that. You want to make sure that you let the power of this Rise into Purpose Summit land on you, sink into you, move you forward, elevate you in your thinking, prepare you to take off from the runway and soar in a way you've never soared before. And seriously say, you know what? That package makes tremendous amount of sense for me. And it does. If it does, my job is to put it out there and say, you can have this if you want it. You don't have to look any further. Straight talk you can trust, and deep experience you can count on. I'd like to thank you for listening to my opening statements, and I am so excited to be able to introduce every one of our powerful speakers. I want you to think for yourselves about the what and the why. What is your possible highest level impacts? Have you even considered that there is an umbrella brand for, that you get to go beyond what you do and literally make impacts at higher levels? What might that be for you? And the why? Do you acknowledge and ask what your purpose is? When I read the same book every morning, it's pretty big, and I read certain passages, and I usually read a lot more than my devotional tells me to read. But my prayer is always, let it land on my heart what you want me to hear. Your will for this life. I'm here for a reason. We all are. If you ask, it happens more quickly. And so I want you to think about why you would want to invest your time to be able to more clearly make your most significant impacts. Every one of the speakers is speaking in some way about a truly fulfilling life. Each of us is living a truly fulfilling life in many, many ways. You know, for me, it's in this work. I believe it's God's work. It's in my faith. It's in my marriage. I've been married 49 years and 54 Valentine's days. Woo, praise God, I'll tell you what. It's in the fact that I get to cook for people because I'm an organic chef and I love to cook for people. It's a way I share love. That I've had the worldly experiences that I have. A high-tech ad agency with partners all over the world. I've traveled. I've been in lots of places. I have perspective. It's a blessing. I bring it to the work I do. I really feel like I'm living a fulfilling life in many, many ways. A father and a grandfather now. There's more. If we ask and if we listen. So I want you to think about what that level might be for you and why. Maybe now's the time. Many times when I'm finished speaking, and I'll do it right now instead of using it as my finished comment, but I point my finger like this and I say, remember, now is the time to define the brand you will become. And for some people, it confuses them, so they're not the ones I'm talking to. But for ones that know there's more and have downloaded the thought that in order for us to be brought in as the solution, as the one, we get to shape a consistent perception, and we get to evolve the perception of us, of our value, of who we are, of what we stand for. We get to evolve that perception so that the perception people that we're targeting, people we most care about, have on first impression, allows them to say, I think you're the one, and bring you in and not let you bounce off or not bounce off of you. And then they lose, you lose, and the world loses. What I see for you is that you don't bounce off, that you attract, that your language is attracting with unique language that transfers energy. You get credit for what makes you outstanding. You don't waste money on marketing and think the marketing didn't work. It's not the marketing. It's the brand wasn't clearly defined. People blame marketing and it's like, I want you to consider that maybe why now's the time. And let's have a conversation. What a blessing that each one of the speakers in the next 3 days are colleagues, friends, clients maybe, and mutual connectors of mine that have come into my life in marvelous ways. And I'll lift each one of them up before they speak so that you know them how I know them, and you know the absolute jewels that are about to be shown to you. Please don't miss any of them. Please make sure you choose to upgrade to VIP so that you have all of this as a resource, all of this as a touchstone for that part of you that is ready to step more into purpose. Praise God.